Coach, and I'm not going to do setup. We'll just get right into it. Coach Dallas.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And you are
Coach D.
Coach D. How you doing, Coach D?
Good. You?
Cool. I'm doing good. Thank you for being here. I honestly really appreciate it. This is the most important thing that we'll do the entire fundraiser. This is the hardest thing that we'll do the entire fundraiser. And from our perspective, if we can get you guys, coaches are creatures of habit. You know, if we can have a good plan and you understand what the plan is, we are so much more likely to be extremely successful. And that's why we're meeting. It's going to take 20 minutes. I know you're busy. I know you got a lot of stuff on your plate. So I'm going to respect your time, but I wouldn't ask you to be here unless I knew it was going to help you save time and make more money. All right? My background, so you guys understand, is I've been doing this for 6 years. I really honestly like it. I mean, this isn't just a job for me. This is my career. Every time I do a fundraiser, my reputation's on the line. I'm sure you've heard stories of our industry is one where you can get a bad reputation pretty fast. You do things that you're not supposed to do. You don't have integrity. So I understand that. What I say is what I mean. I better freaking live up to it. Otherwise, you guys won't want to work with me, and I might get shut out of school. And my approach is always long term. How can I affect you 10 years down the road, not just this year? So that's important for me to get out to you. What I wanted to start with was what we're doing, so you can understand the product. Now, I just, because of the list of restaurants that you gave me and the expectation you had for me, I knew it was pretty big. So I honestly put a shitload of effort into this card. Okay, so let's talk about the card so you understand. We got two different cards. So on the front side, you have your schedule and you have some key tags. All right. The main part of the card, which you guys are very familiar with, is this part, right? Because you've either bought these or sold these in the past. Okay. On the back side of the card are local discounts. Those are the ones Coach Dallas gave me a specific list. I went out and signed up as many of those as I could, plus I went out and got other offers that I know people, from the feedback that we get as a company, they say, hey, get these on there. So you have A&W, Blackjack, Burger King, McDonald's is probably the biggest one that we got on this year that we haven't had on the past. Okay, so I am very proud of this. It sells for $20. My first experience with this card was in the 7th grade. My dad put it in my hand. I used it all the time. I said, this thing's pretty cool. I didn't even realize that, I'd be on the other end doing this someday. So my experience of it is from that far back, and that's why I believe in it. Now, people have different opinions on this. Let's be honest. Some people think that this is great. I think this is great. Other people don't think it's great. And what I want you to understand is this isn't what sells the product. What sells the product is the process and how you ask for the support. So, I'm happy this is a good product, but that's not why this is successful. So that's that. You also have on the back side your national discounts, okay? You fold it out. It has something called a QR code. I'm not very good with technology, but your players are. They'll understand if they scan this, they can get it right on their phone. And then we have something called Coaching Matters Foundation. This is something we're extremely proud of. Just so you understand, a small percentage of every online sale that these guys do, or somebody buys a card, goes online, purchases something online, a small percentage goes into our Coaching Matters Foundation. That allows us to do a day at the ballpark, which we take our coaches out in June, and they get free food, free tickets to Rockies games, where it allows us to sponsor things, which we're going to be doing on Friday. We're sponsoring the Coaches Clinic, so that's pretty cool. Any questions about the product?
No, looks good.
Cool. All right. Are you timing this?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. What we're going to go over is our game plan. This is your cheat sheet for the fundraiser, all right? What we want to get across to you guys today is, one, what can you expect out of the fundraiser and how are you going to execute the fundraiser? So let's start with the expectations, which is on the top left-hand corner of the game plan. The most important thing with this fundraiser is that you stay true to yourself. Coach this fundraiser like you're coaching a game, like you're coaching in practice. Do not think that you need to be somebody you're not for this to be successful. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Coaches that are confident in themselves are the ones that do really well with this, okay? The second thing is going to be 100% participation, and that actually applies to you guys just as much. When I have a coaches meeting with a staff of 10 and 5 show up, and that's happened. I mean, it's not, we'd love it to run perfectly every time, but it doesn't. I know that negatively affects the fundraiser because we have 5 coaches that don't know what the hell is going on. So thank you for being here, but also be involved and engage and participate in the fundraiser so the kids can feel your energy during the fundraiser. And the last thing is accountability. I want you guys to hold me accountable as much as I will hold you accountable. I am going to tell you that I'm going to execute certain things. Make sure that I do that, okay? And I'm going to give you that same respect. I think you deserve that, all right, as a coach. And coaches, honestly, I hope and I believe that they appreciate that, okay? Now to the execution side of the fundraiser. What we're going to go over today are, 1, what the kickoff looks like, all right? What the checkpoints are, and why we do checkpoints, and what incentives we have for checkpoints, what the blitz day looks like, which is the last day of the fundraiser, and also who your team leaders are going to be. We need to identify some of your top studs, some of your best leaders, and put them in a position where we transfer some of the ownership that you guys have to them so you raise more money for your fundraiser, okay? So let's go through this. Coach, let's start with this. Our goal for the fundraiser is $21,000. Mike, you probably heard it from Coach already, but let's recap so we're on the same page. What are we raising the money for?
We need new uniforms. So that's something we try and do every 3 years, and we're in that cycle right now. So it's not that we want to get an extra uniform. We need new uniforms. We also need new shoulder pads. They've got some new shoulder pads out that have a technology that kind of absorbs more of the impact of the blow. And that's going to make us a better team. I mean, that's going to make our kids unafraid to go out there and hit people and hit them hard. So we really want to get those. We also need new helmets. And I mean, I don't really need to go into detail about that. I mean, that's a huge priority, especially when trying to continue to grow our program. You know, we want people to feel like they're safe. And so
right.
we want to get the best helmets.
Safety is a big theme here, isn't it?
That's right. And then we want to upgrade our facilities. So our weight room, our press box. We want to just give an overall, overhaul to that,
right.
to that area.
In order for you guys to get all those things, our goal is $21,000. In order for us to raise $21,000, we need every athlete to sell 20 cards. 20 cards is, but a lot of times it's the starting point for us. It's a lot. The fair share, what we call the fair share, which is this, it's dictated by what you'd like to raise. It's going to take a couple hours of work. For them to sell 20 cards, if they get on their phone for 3 hours on the first day of the fundraiser, they're going to sell 20 cards. So I just want to define for you guys a time commitment we're asking these kids to take, because you need to ask yourself, am I comfortable holding them accountable to that? It's really not that much time. It's 3 hours. I'd say that confidently if you ask them after the fundraiser how long it take. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, you have 100 kids. If everybody on your team sells 20 cards, that's 2,000 cards. If you sell 2,000 cards, you've raised $14 per card. That's actually $28,000 if you netted. We're going to cushion in there $21,000, and the reason being is these things, it's an up and down swing, right? You've got your top third of your athletes that they do what you say, and you can identify in your head right now, oh yeah, Johnny's that kid. I know that kid that's going to do this regardless of what I say or how I say it. Then you have the middle third. Those are your athletes that come to practice. They're raw, but they're coachable. We're going to have things set in place that will motivate them. And then you have your bottom third. And some of your bottom third, let's just be honest, can't be influenced. All right? If you're a great coach, you know there's certain kids, God, I've done everything I can. I can't reach this kid this year. All right? So we understand that. We're going to set the goal at 20. Do we want every kid to hit 20? Hell yeah, we do. All right? But the goal is that your overachievers set more than 20. Your middle achievers get really close to 20, and then your underachievers get 10 to 15 range. Now keep that in your head. Don't tell your kids that, hey, you suck, so you sell 10 now. Let's not do that, but I want to be real with you. I'm not coming here expecting that everybody's going to do it. So that's why the goal is $21,000. You could raise more realistically, but it's going to take a hell of an effort, okay? So that's the goal. Now let's go through the dates, guys. The kickoff date is going to be August 3rd, all right? The time is 7:30. The location is the weight room. It's important that we get these guys in an environment that's not distracting. So I just want to make sure that the weight room will be a good environment for us. Would you say that it is or isn't, Coach?
I think it'll be fine. There won't be anyone else in there. I mean, if you want to do, it's going to be a lot of guys and not a lot of places to sit. I mean, if you want, we could do like the auditorium or something like that.
And you have access to the auditorium.
Yeah.
Let's do the auditorium.
That's not a problem.
Let's sit them down just so it's not distracting. And I like it, the auditorium, just because like visualize everybody sitting and you can see everybody, you know what I mean? You can look row to row. If you're in, I've done kickoffs in the weight room and I hate it when I can't see kids.
Right.
Because I don't know what the hell they're doing or what they're thinking. So let's switch that to the auditorium, all right? Now you have practice afterwards, right?
Correct.
So they're going to be in their practice gear.
Yeah.
And I love that. So just picture what that's going to look like. They're all going to look like a team. They're all going to have the same crap on. They're going to probably be coming in. Hopefully it's going to be a nice morning. I believe we'll get them in the right mindset because they're going into practice, right? What we'll do, the kickoff will take 20 minutes. The first thing I want to do is I want to pull all the coaches outside and have a 2-minute meeting with them. The most important thing I need to get across to you guys is, hey, stand up there with me, be engaged, don't be on your phone. There's just a couple things that I've noticed that help or hurt the fundraiser that I want to get across before we get in the room with the kids. So that'll be the first thing. The second thing is we'll pull the team leaders outside, and that's not about me. That's going to be about you telling your top studs, this is what I expect out of you. This is why I believe in you and why you're the team leader. It's pretty simple. It's very powerful. Makes sense? The last thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into the auditorium. You're going to introduce the fundraiser coach, touch on 3 things. What the fair share is, which is 20, where the money's going, and most importantly, how that's going to make your program better. All right? And what I'll do after that is I'll explain to them the product, certain things that you don't understand about the product, what the checkpoint dates are, what the blitz date is, and what the cash incentives are. You guys, I hear it all the time. A lot of people have had bad experiences with somebody like me coming in thinking they can influence what these kids sell. I can't do jack shit. What I can do is make you guys understand what you can do for your program and put you in a position to be successful. And I've already put in all the work in, so I'm very proud of that. But I'm not going to yell at your kids. I'm going to make some jokes, hopefully get them engaged from the start, and tell them, how to execute the fundraiser. But I need you guys to be the motivators. All right? So that's what the kickoff will look like. The first checkpoint, if we just go down through this sequentially, is going to be August 6th. All right? We're going to do the checkpoint before practice, which is at 7:30. We can do that. Do you want to change the checkpoint location to the auditorium since we're doing the kickoff there, or do you want to keep it in the weight room?
Let's do the weight room because they're going to be in their lifting groups anyway.
I'm good with that.
Pull them
I
aside.
don't think it will hurt or help it if we do it in the weight room. So that's okay. The goal is going to be 10, and we're going to talk about some incentives. All right. The checkpoint is the most important thing that you guys do that I'm not there to see. All right. The checkpoint's your halftime. All right. We're going into halftime. You're getting with your coaches. You're saying, how are we playing? Do we need to adjust? Do we need to change our offense? Do we need to talk to these kids differently? I mean, so it's a good way to reflect on the fundraiser, digest the information that you have, and say, how are we doing? Now, from my perspective, so you understand, is that when you get me those numbers, I can tell you pretty accurately where you're going to be by the end of the fundraiser. And then you can tell me, hey, this is good enough, or this isn't good enough. And so that's where my experience will come into play. Hey, this is where I project you to be. Is that okay with you, or do we need to make changes? Does that make sense? And it's not what you think it is. If they sell 600 cards by the first checkpoint, they're not going to sell 1,200 cards by the second checkpoint. There's different variables that will make that change, and there'll be certain questions I'll ask you to so we can figure out what that is. All right? The checkpoint, what we want to accomplish with that is, Coach, you're going to be in charge of 10 kids. Coach Dosh, you're going to be in charge of 10 kids. The other 8 coaches that chose not to come to this coaches meeting, which I must have done a shitty job explaining that, they're going to have 10 kids. It should take you 5 minutes. It's the most important 5 minutes of the fundraiser because it's an opportunity for you to look a kid in the face and say, you did a hell of a job, way to hit your goal, keep it up. And it's also an opportunity for you to say, if a kid doesn't do it, hey, what's going on? Everybody else is in line with what we're doing. So be comfortable with yourself. My suggestion at the checkpoint for you guys is to ask questions. I mean, it's an opportunity to build a relationship with a kid. Did he just drop the ball? I think most kids are honest and will tell you if they did. Some are going to try to feed you with some excuses, and it's your choice to gauge whether those are legitimate or not, right? So that's what the checkpoint's all about. Celebrate it, make it a big deal. The goal is 10. The 2 pieces of information that I want to know at that time, Coach, is how many cards have they sold, and how many kids hit their checkpoint goal. All right. Now we're going to have an incentive in there to keep them motivated, and I personally love the incentive that we have. We're going to put them in teams of 5. If all 5 kids hit 10 or more, I'm going to purchase that team customized Rocky Mountain football shorts. They're dry fit shorts. They're going to have pockets based off the feedback that we got. I had another kid at a kickoff say, hey, can we get pockets in those shorts? He got them with baseball, and he remembered that, but he wanted pockets. And I said, damn, that's a good idea. Like, we have Fundraising University shorts, and I wish they had freaking pockets.
They like pockets.
Yeah, I like pockets. So that's an adjustment that I made as an incentive, but the requirement is everybody has to hit their goal. And then there's going to be huge accountability and within the team that's been created without you guys even saying anything. And that's where the underachievers, this is the incentive that's going to affect your underachievers the most, your kids that are hard to influence. They are affected by their peers. So that's why we do that, all right? Call time, Coach, I'm going to call you at 12 o'clock on that day. Does that call time still work for you? All right, second checkpoint is going to be on the 12th. The time is 7:30. Location's weight room. The only thing that changes this checkpoint is the goal is going to be 20 instead of 10. And that's our overall goal. It's the day before the blitz. It'd be great for them to get there and get their fair share over with, so then they can essentially stop working if they want to. All right? The incentive that we're going to do there, Coach, and that comes from you to the team, is going to be the game day pull-up. I thought that was a pretty cool incentive. I haven't had many coaches ask me or come up with that incentive. Is there any reason in particular why you wanted that to be your apparel incentive at that checkpoint?
Mainly because our kids look like garbage on game day. We have them wear a shirt and tie. Half the kids don't tuck in their shirt. They don't know how to tie a tie.
Right.
They don't know, black belt, white shoes. They just look terrible. So
right.
I'm just going to make it easy for them. I want us to look good. I'm going to give them that polo to wear. I want us to look classy, and apparently I need to make that happen because they can't do it themselves.
That's why I appreciate you,
because
you care how your team looks. Not all coaches feel that way, believe it or not. So that's a good incentive. I appreciate it. And if they hit 20, now that's individual. That's not a team incentive. So an individual hits 20. The nice thing about checkpoint 2 is he doesn't have to worry about what his team does. He only worries about himself, and he controls that incentive. The last day of the fundraiser is the 14th. That's going to be a blitz day. That's going to be on Saturday. We're doing that from 10 to 1. I love blitzing on Fridays and Saturdays. Fridays are great, obviously, for obvious reasons. It's the weekend. People are usually in a good mood. I love Saturdays for the same reason and for the fact that kids know where to go home. So we're going to have a specific plan, Coach. We're going to have mapped out specific neighborhoods, so you want to be thinking about that. Not for now, honestly, but we'll communicate later. Hey, these are the neighborhoods these teams are going to go into. If they have a plan, they're going to be more confident they can execute it, okay? So that's what the blitz is going to look like. From 10 to 12, we're going to meet in the weight room, okay? From 10 to 10:15, we are going to be walking around from team to team, tallying numbers and making sure that we understand exactly how many have been sold pre-blitz. That will dictate what we want them to sell during the blitz and also keep them motivated to go out and work hard during the blitz. The second thing, what is the second thing? God, I lost my train of thought. The second thing is to make sure that the kids have enough cards in hand. I mean, if they only have 2, we want them to go with at least 5. And so we will redistribute cards when needed, okay? When they come back at 12, from 12 to 1, I need an hour, and we're going to stagger when they come back, and they're going to come in and check in with me. I'm going to have coaches there to help facilitate and crowd control. From 12 to 12:45, I will count the money and make sure that they turn in what they need to turn in if they haven't sold all their cards. From 12:45 to 1, we're going to do cash prizes. The cash prizes is the most exciting thing we do for the fundraiser because we reward good behavior, but also the way I see it, and hopefully the way you'll see it in the future, is that the cash prizes that we do this year will influence your results next year. So it's very important that the kids stick around and see that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What are the cash prizes? You get 2 free cards at 20 plus 10. What that means, they sell their 20, they get 2 free cards, and they can sell those, that'd be worth $40. The money bag is 20 plus 10. All that means is we're going to have a football helmet with 5s, 10s, 20s, and 50s in it. If they sell their 20, they get to dip 1 bill. They sell their 30, they get 2 bills, 43 bills. We want to encourage your overachievers to keep going, and the cash incentives it does exactly that. All right, top seller is going to get $1 per card sold. Top seller last fall for me was an athlete at Sydney High School. Football player sold 95 cards. He got $95 cash. All right, plus 9 free cards, plus 7 dips in the money bag. So it was a big financial day for my man at Sydney. First to goal. I don't expect you guys to remember everything, okay? I will have an incentive sheet printed out for coaches and for your kids, and I'll email you one just in case you want to post it on Facebook or some social outlet that you guys communicate with. But if there's one thing that I would like you to remember, it is the first to goal. We want to incentivize kids getting it done, getting out the gate and creating momentum. So if the first athlete that sells their 20 cards gets $20 cash, you will have an athlete get that on day one. That will allow you to share and communicate that with the rest of your program. And some of your kids are going to say, holy shit, this can be achieved in 7 days. Some kid just did it in 2 hours. All right, so that's why we do that. We have a $50 prize for the top team. So we'll have a team incentive. We have a sweatshirt built in at 30, and all that means is if they sell 30, I personally pay for a sweatshirt form that we'll customize. We'll say Rocky Mountain Football, and then top coach where it says that. I want to reward good behavior. I realize and recognize that I totally am at the mercy of you guys in terms of how this fundraiser will go. And if you do a great job motivating and doing what you're comfortable with doing, and your team hits the shorts incentive, I always purchase shorts for that coach that's on that team as well. So those are the incentives that we put in place. And to finalize, guys, you make it what you want to make it. All right? We're going to put the work in. I mean, you guys are confident. I think I'm pretty damn good at this. Okay, so I know what you can do, and you distracted me by laughing, Scott. I don't appreciate that. But so I'm confident that you'll sell $21,000. But you first got to believe it, and secondly you got to be willing to commit to it. And I believe that you guys are definitely there. But and thank you for meeting with me today. Any questions or anything? Yeah.